Building a custom asset ingestion and color grading pipeline in Adobe After Effects is a significant engineering task. Traditionally, this requires weeks of manual API scripting and debugging to ensure every line of code handles raw assets correctly. Yet the entire pipeline for the 8-bit Theater District project was fully automated by a creator who had never written a line of pipeline code. The speed of development was the most notable factor. By using specific reasoning models, the system moved from a bleached-out, broken version 1 render to a pristine, cinematic version 11 pipeline in under 6 hours. The creator bypassed traditional coding speed by adopting the role of a director engineer, steering AI agents to build tools on the fly rather than manually writing the tools themselves. This workflow relies on 3 distinct layers that we will deconstruct: contextual scaffolding, single responsibility architecture, and deterministic file-based handoffs. Understanding this sequence allows a single person to operate at the scale of an industrial studio, moving past the limitations of simple conversational AI prompts. This process uses a just-in-time agentic workflow. The operator provides a high-level goal, and the AI agent independently plans and executes the software tasks across the editor and terminal. To maintain creative control, the operator establishes contextual scaffolding. This involves defining the brand's visual DNA, the specific color palettes and aesthetic rules, within a dedicated Markdown file before any code is generated. Providing this blueprint upfront forces the AI to adhere to a strict stylistic logic, ensuring that every generated script fragment uses the correct cinematic math for things like halation and black crush levels. Once the context is set, the creator uses modular skill injection. Instead of asking for a single massive program, the operator injects specific abilities into the environment, like folder navigation or the application of a specific glow effect. This modular approach is much more reliable than requesting a monolithic system, which often fails due to the sheer complexity of the request. To protect the pipeline from those failures, the system utilizes defensive coding. Every operation is wrapped in try-catch blocks. This ensures that if a specific modular skill fails, the system logs the error and allows the agent to troubleshoot without crashing the entire production queue. These error logs create an iterative loop. The agent sees where the code broke, adjusts its approach, and progresses through multiple versions until it reaches a stable, high-fidelity result. Through scaffolding and defensive logic, the human role changes from a manual laborer into a systemic director. To sustain this level of automation, the underlying AI system must be structured to handle complex reasoning without collapsing under its own weight. A single, massive prompt tasked with grading, ingestion, and routing simultaneously will inevitably hallucinate. The context window becomes overcrowded, leading to logic errors. This is where we move from generative AI, which simply creates content in a single pass, to agentic AI. The cognitive framework here is the react pattern. It allows an agent to move through a recursive cycle of thought, action, and observation. The agent performs an action, observes the result, and if it fails, it generates a new plan and retries automatically. However, a single react loop still has limits. If one agent tries to manage the entire pipeline, the branching paths become too complex.
The solution is a single responsibility agent architecture. We split the workload among a team of specialized agents, each restricted to one function. A dedicated JSON builder agent only produces valid data schemas. A separate video generation function only calls the API. This single responsibility focus makes the prompt simpler and the output significantly more accurate. By isolating these distinct tasks, unpredictable AI behavior is completely replaced by the structural stability of deterministic software engineering. While specialized agents are more accurate, they create a new bottleneck, the problem of communication overhead. Many early agentic frameworks use a conversational model, where agents interact in a dynamic group chat. In this model, every agent must process the entire history of the chat. This causes token usage to skyrocket, leading to high API costs and slower processing times. This unstructured communication often results in non-deterministic errors. Agents may act on outdated or irrelevant parts of the conversation, causing the entire workflow to deviate from the goal. For the human director, this creates cognitive fatigue. Managing multiple agents who are constantly talking over one another makes it impossible to audit the system's logic in real time. Conversational models may be useful for research, but they are often too unstable for a production-grade studio environment. The structural alternative to this conversational chaos is the use of deterministic, file-based handoffs. Instead of agents messaging each other directly, they communicate through the local file system. An agent reads its input from a specific file, performs its task, and writes its output to a hard-coded JSON path. Restricting the agent to a single isolated file prevents semantic drift. The model isn't distracted by the entire history of the project, only the specific data it needs for the current step. This architecture creates strict data contracts between agents. If Agent A doesn't produce a valid JSON file, Agent B will not trigger, preventing errors from cascading downstream. This also provides the human director with instant observability. You don't have to guess what an agent is thinking. You can audit the exact state of the pipeline at any second by simply opening a local JSON file to see what the agent just wrote. Restricting agents to file-based input and output is the critical constraint that turns an experimental AI into a reliable production tool. The 8-Bit Theater project is a template for the future of solo creative production. The success of a 6-hour build rests on 3 pillars. Scaffolding sets the rules, single responsibility agents execute the labor, and file-based handoffs guarantee the stability. This architecture allows a single person to manage the output volume of a traditional post-production department. Traditional agencies operate on margins of 10 to 20% due to the high cost of human coordination and payroll. By replacing that overhead with an automated agent stack, a solo creator drops monthly costs below $500, expanding margins to over 60%. This transition demonstrates that the primary barrier to building industrial-scale media tools is no longer the mastery of manual coding syntax. Operational control now moves entirely to the independent creators who can design, direct, and maintain these deterministic agentic ecosystems.